Greetings, my fellow nerds. I'm Chris, and welcome back to D's Nerds. And today we're going to be reviewing the first episode of Loki. All right, so I'm excited to kind of talk about some Marvel content because, we really didn't do anything for WandaVision, even though we enjoyed that show quite a bit. And we haven't even watched Falcon or Winter Soldier yet, which I'm really kind of bummed about. But I think we're going to be watching that here very soon. But, of course, love Loki. Love the MCU, and am very interested to see where this was going to go with the character, because obviously, spoiler alert, he met his end in Infinity War. So very interested. I always loved Tom Hiddleston, so was very interested going into this to see where we go with it. And so we're going to be talking about the first episode. So if you have not seen the first episode, there are going to be spoilers here. So please, come back and watch this video after, you've watched the first episode. Really, this starts off, to me, this was a very low-key kind of first episode. And that to me is just very interesting choice. But ultimately, I ended up really loving this episode. So basically, it picks up right where in Endgame, whenever, of course, they try to steal the Tesseract to take the Infinity Stone back to the current timeline in order to use them against Thanos. Well, at that point in time, Loki gets the Tesseract, and then he ends up, going to another, it looks like he's like another part on Earth or somewhere else. So at that point, the Time Variance Authority comes in, which we're being introduced to for the first time, arrests Loki, takes him back, resets the timeline, and then he's put on trial, and he's basically going to get killed over this. And Owen Wilson's character, Mobius, steps in and tries to get his help in. There's other Minutemen that are getting killed in other timelines. And then we find out later at the very end of the episode that it's in fact another variant of Loki, supposedly. So, like I said, there's not a whole lot in the way of plot there. Where I think this episode really is at its strongest is when you're dealing with Owen Wilson's character and Tom Hiddleston's character. So Loki and Mobius together in their discussions, Owen Wilson is trying to get his help, but he's also trying to, figure out, are you really a violent person? Do you really enjoy killing people and doing the things you've done? And we later find out that Loki really doesn't enjoy, and that he actually views himself as kind of a weak person, and that's all part of the trick, that's all part of the magic. So, but that sequence there, whenever they're going back and forth, to me was really strong. I also did enjoy earlier whenever they kind of, show him going through the mundane kind of bureaucratic stuff of getting arrested and going through the court system. There were some pretty funny parts in there, especially where he just gets stripped naked. It's like, okay, that was quick, and no, I'm good. I'm good. Kind of the chasing that happens there in the middle where he does get hold of, I don't know, I can't remember what it's called, but I'm just going to call it the Time Turner from Harry Potter. But basically if someone's got that collar on, you can hit the button and it'll jump them back, however much time you want to do it on. But that kind of chasing that was involving that was really awesome as well. The fact that, magic doesn't work in where they're at, but also the Infinity Stones are useless too, so they've just got a ton of them hanging out in the drawer because apparently somebody's tried to use them to affect time as well. So they've just got a bunch of that evidence just hanging out in a drawer somewhere, and they're completely useless. I thought that, and then also watching, at one point Loki, while he's on the run, he does kind of go back to that room, and basically they have his whole life on basically a movie. And he sits there and he watches the way the rest of his life, because remember, this is Loki from, the very first Avengers movie in 2012. So he gets to basically sit there and watch his entire life, how it would have played out had he remained in that timeline. So I thought that was very interesting and kind of heart-wrenching, because you think about, imagine if someone just plopped down something right in front of you and said, okay, you can watch the rest of your life how it's supposed to play out. That would be a bit of a mind trick there. I just really enjoyed Tom Hiddleston, of course, having him back as Loki. I gotta give major props to Owen Wilson as Mobius, though. I mean, first of all, I've always loved Owen Wilson. I've loved a ton of his movies going way back, and it's just great to kind of see him back, because I haven't seen him in something here lately. I'm sure he's been in stuff, but it just hasn't been anything I've watched. So it was really good to see him. You know, he's still the great actor I've always remembered him as. So that's awesome. Another thing too to kind of keep in mind is that, you know, it is a simpler kind of plot and a beginning that, you know, we have a lot that we haven't figured out yet. Obviously, what's going to go on with Loki, with this variant Loki? You know, is it actually another Loki, or is it a ruse? We're not really sure at this point. You know, the thing overall that I'm really appreciative of with Marvel is that, you know, they are taking some of these smaller stories and playing them out. Whereas if this would not be a movie, this would not be something they would release out theatrically, but it's wonderful that they can come back and tell these kind of stories like WandaVision, like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that are smaller stories. You know, you put them on Disney Plus and they definitely fill out the universe a lot better, and it makes the movies that more impactful moving forward. And quite honestly, they're kind of succeeding with that, where I think Star Wars, especially the sequel trilogy, kind of failed, which is, I don't necessarily think that the overall arcing story of Star Wars was bad. I think it was just that they really had bad gaps. I mean, especially from Last Jedi to Rise of Skywalker. There's just a lot that happened there. And it kind of feels similar to like what you would see maybe like from Attack of the Clones to Revenge of the Sith. But we also got the Clone Wars to fill that in too. That's where I'm kind of at with it right now. I think that they're actually doing this really good, and I'm really happy to see that this is Marvel's approach going forward. And you know, I'm very, very happy with how this episode ended, and I can't wait for the next one. So I would love to hear your thoughts. Please let me know what your thoughts were on the first episode of Loki down in the comments, as well as if you like this channel, please give it a subscription there. Also, you know, hit the bell icon so you know whenever new videos coming out. You can also catch us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We'd really appreciate it if you'd follow us there as well. Also, we have merch, so you know, we'll put our link down there in the description so you can go support the channel anything you can purchase. We just greatly appreciate it. So guys, until next time, I am Chris and we are D's Nerds. You guys have a great, safe rest of the day. Bye.